let's get to our morning business report. Long-term unemployment is at its highest level since the COVID-19 pandemic.
And new work requirements for SNAP recipients have just gone into effect. Channel 3's Jane King live at the New York Stock Exchange with those stories and more. Good morning, Jane.
Hi, Tracy and Caitlin. Good morning. Yes, those went into effect on Sunday. So SNAP benefits recipients must now work a minimum of 20 hours a week or participate in approved activities such as a job readiness program, a volunteer effort, or searching for a job. Now, another significant change that went into effect is veterans, youths who have aged out of foster care, and individuals experiencing homelessness are no longer exempt from work requirements. Well, for workers across all sectors, hiring has slowed. 1 in 4 jobless workers is considered to be long-term unemployed. So that means they've been looking for work for more than 27 weeks, and that is the highest rate since the pandemic. There are a couple of reasons for this. AI is replacing workers in some industries and at some companies, and cautious employers also aren't hiring as much due to tariffs and just the overall economy. Well, U.S. wine exports to Canada fell by 76% last year, contributing to a loss of $428 million for the industry. Canadian provinces and territories pulled U.S. wine and spirits from store shelves in response to tariffs to Canadian goods. Now, in 2024, Canada was the largest single nation market for U.S. packaged exports, according to BMO. And Wall Street ended February bruised and battered. The Dow down 500 points. You've got persistent worries about inflation and also AI taking jobs, and of course now a war in the Middle East, and that is weighing on stocks this morning. The Dow pointing down 500 points, and oil is up right now 7 to 8%. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you.